Hello, I'm Dr. Larry Carnes, and welcome to Books of the Month. We are so glad that you could join us this month, and we have a very, very exciting guest with us. Chika, how are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. Do this for me. Introduce yourself to our viewing audience and tell them a little bit about who Chika is.
Okay, I am Chika Durako, but my pen name is Chika Echebiri. So first and foremost, I'm an author, a mother, and a teacher.
An author, a mother, and a teacher. You need to
Yes.
find something else to do to fill up your day. Don't seem like you got enough to do right there. An author, mother, and a teacher. That's fascinating. You've written this exciting book. Now, when I looked at this book, I'm like, oh, wow. It captivates. It woke up the child in me, you know? I
I
got
know.
so excited. Mimi the Deer and Other Stories. This work of fiction contains stories of events one could relate to on certain levels. Cultural differences of some parts of the world are also indicated, just as in the family of blackbirds and other stories. Then you talk about the first story. I was looking at this. It says, A Flooding in Madagascar is a tale about a storm and the resulting flood that left destruction in its wake in some parts of Madagascar, and how a family got through it all triumphantly. Talk to us about that. That sounds so fascinating.
Okay, so basically that story, it's kind of surrounds a certain community in Madagascar, and particularly on a family, that passed through it all triumphantly. Yeah, so like a report was sent out, through the airwaves about an oncoming storm. So usually in such situations, you see that some people take such announcements seriously and evacuate, then while some just stay put, to weather it out. But then they followed their instincts to move out. So they had to go to a friend's place, somewhere in the mainland where the storms don't usually, occur. So that was where they stayed put. And after the storm, there were lots of destructions, and thinking of going back, back to their base after the storm, it brought with them, such mixed feelings because they were kind of scared about what they will find when they get home. So what was foremost in their minds is that obviously their homes will be destroyed completely. They may not be able to get anything out of it, and they'll have to start rebuilding all over again, you know. So and that was exactly what happened. But
Okay.
fortunately for them, some homes were destroyed, a lot of them. But the mother of the family was kind of hopeful and also sent up prayers that, their home will be spared. All right.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah. So that was the experience of the family. They got home eventually, and their home was spared, but not without some slight damages. But at least
Yeah.
compared to the other homes around, you know, theirs were that they were totally lucky,
It
compared to
was
the
salvageable. It's
exactly.
exciting. You wrote the
Yeah.
book, you have these wonderful pictures in there so that children can relate to it. I thought an excellent job. Then you talk about Jamal and the zebra. Speak to us about that. Jamal and the zebra. I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, the excellent pictures. Let me just go back to your comment earlier. The pictures put up there, they were done by me, okay, because I needed to project exactly what the situation was so that anybody reading it can just relate to it at some point.
Yes.
Okay, so Jamal and the zebra is a story about a bond that is formed between an animal, a zebra, and Jamal. Jamal was a hunter. He took after his father in his expertise in hunting. And so on one particular day, he sensed an animal, being tortured, from the sounds that came to him while he was there in the wild. So it's the grassland, basically.
Yes.
And the story is situated in Kenya. It's about the Maasai tribe,
Okay.
So yeah, so he heard the sound, and then, of course, being somebody that's used to such environment, as a hunter, he followed the sounds, and then what he observed, you know, he was really disgusted by what he observed. An animal was being tortured by a native, a fellow native, and he didn't really like it because of the nature of the animal. The animal is not the one, it's not a type of animal that you hunt, you know,
Yes.
like you hunt things like deer, wild deer, or antelope, something like that, you know,
Okay.
physically, traditionally. So it was a zebra, and it was like a sacred animal to him, you know, he shouldn't be doing that. So he saved the zebra, and then they formed a bond. You know, it's like a
That's,
fable. You know,
yeah.
there's something magical about it. The bond between the zebra and Jamal was
Yes.
something somewhat magical. So
That is
they
powerful.
weathered, yeah, they weathered the dangers that came up afterwards
Okay.
together. Yeah.
Now,
So
I'm looking here, Jeremiah and the magic mushroom. Now I say, oh my. So you talk about how this young boy observes a strange occurrence all by himself while helping out his old aunt in the farm. So what is it about Jeremiah and this magic mushroom?
uh, this particular story is also centered in Africa, West Africa in particular. So this guy, this small guy, he was staying with his aunt, you know, during the school holidays. So he went to his aunt's place and he was there with her, and went to the farm with her. So while they were at the farm this particular day, he was by himself, you know, for a few minutes. Then he observed something all by himself. So yeah, making it the observation to be just by one person is what kind of, you know, emphasizes the magical moment that
Okay.
happened. So he observed the mushroom. Okay, these mushrooms, they were glowing red. You know,
Ah,
yeah, it was magical. He held the mushroom in his hand. He wasn't afraid of, you know, even though he was skeptical about picking them up, but then he did. And then he
yes.
observed it closely. You know, being a kid, if it was an adult would be just kind of, you know, skeptical picking it up. Oh, what's going to happen if I hold that mushroom? Is it going to, you know, light up my face or something? But the boy went ahead and did that. So he picked it up, and the glow went out. You know, it was not there
Ah,
anymore. But then it came back on, you know, while he was waiting for it to do so,
wow.
and he took it home. Yeah, so it was
That's
really an interesting,
powerful.
but yeah, really magical.
Here we
Yeah,
are, Mimi the
yeah.
deer. After a series of disappointments and betrayals by some people she trusted, a girl named Elsa finds renewed hope and trust after she met a doe in the woods. So humans have hurt me. I don't have any more trust in humans, and now I find this doe. Talk
Hmm.
to us about that.
Okay, so Elsa was a young girl. Yeah, she lived in a place that was close to a woodland. So she usually went there, you know, on a walk, taking some stuff with her, you know, to eat and all that. So on this particular day, she met a doe in the woods, you know, which
Yes.
was not, yeah, which was not to her. It was not really like it was an unusual thing, but this particular doe kind of, you know, drew something out in her. So she felt connected with the animal, especially considering the events in her life. You know, her father was drinking and all that, and then
Wow.
yeah, and a friend she trusted, you know, told stories about her. You know, she kept confidential. You know, she told her to keep it, you know, confidential, something that is just between them. And then the friend went on to spread the story, and she felt hurt by it. So seeing this
Okay.
doe, yeah. So seeing this
Yeah.
doe kind of healed, brought some healing to her. Uh-huh.
That's powerful. And
Yeah.
you talk about this. I want to talk about this. We have just a few minutes left. Penelopes Garden. I'm like, okay, Penelope. Penelope has the garden. You say Penelope at first was strongly against her family's relocating from New Jersey to Hawaii, but eventually she was able to adapt and make proper use of the opportunities available to make it worth her while. Talk to us just about Penelope.
Okay. So Penelope was living with her parents in New Jersey, and at a particular point, the father had to relocate from New Jersey to Hawaii, Lanai specifically. So he had to move his dental practice. The mother was,
Mm,
collected, antique, things like that. So she
yes.
also could move, but then she felt that she wasn't considered in this decision, having to leave her friends, her school friends, then changing the
Yeah.
environment and all that, so she saw that Hawaii was not really a cool place as the case may be. So she was reluctant to move. But then the beauty of the story is that when she got there, you know, she used the available resources,
Yes.
to make things happen for her, to make her like the place,
Wow.
So yeah, so it happened that the yard, you know, the yard behind them was kind of filled with weeds and all that. So she kind of developed this interest in gardening, and she read books about it, and then she now built a garden, and the parents really encouraged her because they noticed that she wasn't really happy about the move. All right. So this opportunity kind of made the family to bond more, bond. And then
Wow.
the girl also used that opportunity to make herself happy. And
That's
eventually,
powerful.
yeah, and eventually she went to college also, and
Good. So what
read
that
something
tells
about
us,
architecture and design
yeah.
based on that experience alone.
So we have about a couple of minutes left. So when you look through this, it's fascinating. It captivates the imagination of children. The art, the graphics that you've done are just so excellent. And I
Thank
mean,
you.
it's fascinating. It's awesome. Take about 60 seconds, tell our viewing audience how they can get your book, if there's an email, if there's a website, how they can contact you. Take about 60 seconds and do that.
Okay. My books are available at Barnes and Nobles and other outlets like Amazon. You can get them there. And also my contact is through email and Facebook. So that's where you can get my contact, and also Instagram.
Okay, so how do they contact you via Facebook? Who do they look for?
Yeah, they look for Chika Echebiri.
Okay,
So
and Instagram.
yeah, Instagram is the same name too.
Okay,
Chika Echebiri.
all right. So Facebook, books are available through the outlets, Barnes and Noble, through your bookstores, and I'm sure that they can go to their websites and order the book. I know it's available there on Amazon. Listen, we want to thank you so much for being with us, for being our
You're
guest.
very welcome.
It's so exciting. The book just speaks volumes. It captures the imagination of the young and the old. You did an excellent job, excellent job. I want to thank you for being
Thank
our
you.
guest
Thank
with
you.
us.
Thank you. It was my pleasure too.
Oh, we're honored and honored to have you. Listen, I'm Dr. Larry Carnes. This is Books of the Month. Don't go anywhere because we'll be right back with a very, very special guest. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.